I am the master of my breath, my thoughts, and my actions. These words are not a boast, they are a reminder, a return to center. In a world that demands reaction, that constantly pulls attention outward, I must remember the first place of control is inward. The breath is my anchor. It is the first tool I was given in this life and the last I will release. With every inhale, I gather myself. With every exhale, I let go of what is not mine to carry. The breath teaches rhythm. It teaches patience. Inhale, wait, exhale, wait. In that pause, there is peace. And in that peace space to choose, this is where thought begins to slow, where noise begins to fade, and where the mind becomes clear enough to observe. When I am breathing consciously, I cannot be lost. I am here, awake, aware, no longer a drifting leaf in the wind of circumstance. Thoughts will come, often fast, often loud, often unwelcome. But I am not my thoughts. I observe them like clouds moving across the sky. Some are heavy, storm-filled. Others are light and warm, but none define the sky itself. I remain open, spacious, unattached. I decide which thoughts deserve to stay and which ones must dissolve. I am not at war with them. I am simply not ruled by them. And so too with action. The world may press me to move, to respond without pause, to react from impulse, but action born of impulse often carries regret. I choose a different way. I choose the way of stillness before movement. I listen before I speak. I watch before I step. My actions are not the echoes of chaos. They are deliberate notes struck from clarity and calm. My body is an extension of that inner state. I remind myself daily, nothing outside of me has the power to dictate the state within me. Storms may come, people may judge, time may press, but between stimulus and response there is a space. And in that space lives my power. The power to choose how I meet the world, how I shape the moment, how I carry myself through it all. Discipline is not a cage, it is the key. In a world that worships comfort and distraction, it is easy to drift, easy to delay, easy to surrender to the soft pull of ease. But I know this truth, comfort does not build strength. Comfort does not build clarity. It is through effort, through commitment to the quiet repetition of chosen actions that I build a life not driven by impulse but by direction. When I rise each morning, it is not always with excitement. Often it is with resistance. But I do not listen to that resistance. I observe it, and then I move anyway. Because discipline is not about feeling like doing something. It is about doing it regardless of how I feel. In this, I reclaim control over my life. I am no longer a slave to the shifting winds of emotion or external influence. Each disciplined act, no matter how small, is a vote for the person I am becoming. The way I train, the way I speak, the way I hold myself in silence, all of it forms the path beneath my feet. I do not seek shortcuts. I do not seek ease. I welcome the repetition because I know that mastery is born through the willingness to show up again and again, without applause, without recognition, simply because the path itself is worth walking. Structure does not bind me. It sharpens me. Like a blade drawn against the whetstone, I refine myself through routine. It is not rigidity, it is rhythm. I eat with awareness. I train with purpose. I speak with intention. Every moment of discipline strengthens the connection between my mind and my will. In that connection, I find strength no external force can give or take. Freedom is not doing whatever I want. Freedom is being able to do what I must when I must without hesitation. It is the quiet confidence that I can rely on myself, that I will not falter when the moment requires me to act. Discipline gives me that confidence. Discipline gives me that freedom, and I protect it. Fiercely, daily, without excuse. Daily, without excuse. Each dawn carries the silence of a blank page. Before the world speaks, before memory returns, there is a quiet space, untouched, unwritten, pure. In that space, I awaken. Not just my body, but my awareness. The past does not rise with me, it stays behind where it belongs. Regret, doubt, failure. They are shadows of yesterday. I greet the morning not as who I was, but as who I choose to become. There is no need to carry the weight of old stories. I am not obligated to continue yesterday's patterns. What I did, what I didn't do, all of it is gone. I do not wait to repeat the past. I wait to renew the present. The moment my eyes open, I am offered the greatest of gifts, the chance to begin again. And in that beginning, I am no longer chained by limitation. I become possibility itself. The world may expect me to be the same, to behave the way I always have. But I do not serve the expectations of others. I serve the truth of the moment. This morning, I rise lighter. This morning, I release the need to explain who I am becoming. I do not need permission to evolve. Growth requires no justification. Change requires no approval. The path forward belongs only to those willing to take the first step. Again and again. Even my own mind may resist. It may whisper old fears, repeat familiar doubts. But I meet those voices not with war, but with stillness. I am not the voice of fear. I am not the echo of failure. I am the one who observes. I am the one who decides. Every breath I take this morning is a break in the cycle, a signal to my mind. We are not going back. We are moving forward, gently but without compromise. This is why I honor the morning. Not as a ritual but as a return, to presence, to strength, to awareness. I do not inherit the mood of yesterday. I set the tone for today. And that tone is clarity. That tone is purpose. That tone is quiet power. In the stillness of dawn, I remember I am not bound by what was. I rise reborn, inwardly, deeply, truthfully. Within me, three forces breathe as one, the mind that thinks, the body that acts, and the spirit that observes. None is greater, none is lesser. When one dominates, I feel the imbalance. When they move together, I find peace. I do not chase only mental clarity or physical strength or spiritual insight. I cultivate all because wholeness is not found in excess. It is found in balance. The mind gives direction, but it must be quiet enough to listen. The body gives movement, but it must be strong enough to carry truth. The spirit gives meaning, but it must be grounded enough not to drift. These three are not separate, they are reflections of each other. When my thoughts are scattered, my body stiffens. When my spirit is dull, even strength feels hollow. So I train all three, with care, with discipline, with reverence. My body is my temple. I move it not for appearance, but for function. I stretch, I strengthen, I breathe into its limits. It does not need to be perfect. It needs to be aligned. My mind is my tool. I sharpen it through stillness, through study, through presence. I do not let it run wild, nor do I silence it completely. I guide it, and my spirit, it is the quiet flame within. It is fed through solitude, through connection, through silence. When I tend to it, I feel whole. Balance is not something I find once and keep forever. It is something I return to each day. Like walking a tightrope, it requires attention, adjustment, presence. Some days my mind may race, I ground through breath and movement. Some days my body may ache, I soften through patience and rest. Some days my spirit may fade. I return to stillness, to nature, to gratitude. In this dance of alignment, I remain centered. I do not rush to fix and balance. I listen. I adjust. I bring care where it is needed. And through this, I do not just function. I thrive. I do not burn out or break down. I endure not through force, but through harmony. I move through the world not as a fragmented being, but as one whole presence. Rooted like a tree, fluid like water, still like the mountain, clear like the sky. In a world of noise where attention is constantly hunted, I choose to be still, to be aware, to be here. Not half in yesterday, not leaning into tomorrow, just here, fully. This moment is not a stepping stone to somewhere better. It is not a bridge to something more important. It is the ground beneath my feet, the only space where life truly happens. Everything else is memory or imagination. Only this breath is real. Distraction weakens me. It scatters my energy. But when I bring all of me to one place, one breath, one movement, one word, I become precise. I move like a blade cutting through the noise. Focus is not about force. It is about returning. Again and again, I return to what matters. And in that return, I become powerful. The present moment is not always pleasant. Sometimes it holds discomfort. Sometimes it holds fear. But I do not run. I face it. Because the pain I face consciously becomes transformation. The discomfort I meet fully becomes strength. When I am present, I cannot be controlled by regret or fear. The past loses its grip. The future loses its weight. I move through life as it is, not as I fear it might be. This presence is my foundation. I do not check out. I check in. I notice the ground under my feet, the breath in my lungs, the energy in my body. I feel the pulse of life in every small detail. This does not slow me down. It sharpens me. I move with more awareness. I speak with more care. I listen without needing to respond. Presence is not passive. It is full engagement with nothing held back. I train this daily, in silence, in repetition, in watching the mind wander and gently calling it home. This is not about perfection. It is about devotion. a devotion to being here now, not because it is easy, but because it is real. Because here is where I shape my mind, my life, my future, not by escaping, but by arriving fully. Again and again. The breath is ancient, silent, constant. It does not ask for attention, but it offers the greatest gift, the path back to now. When my thoughts scatter in every direction, when emotions rise like storms, I do not need to control the mind, I only need to breathe. The inhale gathers, the exhale releases. Like waves returning to shore, the breath brings me back from the edge of distraction into the center of awareness. Inhale, I feel space open in the chest. Exhale, I feel the ground beneath me. There is nothing mystical in this. It is not escape. It is contact. Raw, real, immediate. No thought, no plan, no judgment lives inside the breath. Only presence. The breath teaches me rhythm, the same rhythm that exists in nature, in cycles, in seasons. It reminds me that I am part of something larger, something steady, something true. When the mind runs, it often does so from fear, from unfinished stories, from imagined futures. But the breath knows no fear. It knows only this moment. So I return. Over and over I return. When chaos rises, I do not react. I breathe. When doubt whispers, I do not chase it. I breathe. With every breath, I interrupt the noise. With every breath, I choose clarity, simplicity, stillness. I do not wait for calm to come from outside. I create it within. Through breath, I calm the body, quiet the mind, awaken the spirit. The breath is the bridge between these three. When I breathe with awareness, I become whole again. I am no longer at the mercy of thoughts or tension or emotion. I become the observer. Not distant, just steady. Not detached, just clear. In this clarity, I remember what I truly am. There is no goal in this practice, no finish line. Only this, the gentle, powerful act of returning. When I forget, I do not punish myself. I do not judge. I breathe. This is the beginning of every change, every insight, every act of strength. I do not need to seek awareness far away. It is here right now, riding on the breath, waiting for me to arrive. There is no progress without pressure, no mastery without challenge. Life does not test me to break me, it tests me to reveal me. The obstacle in front of me is not blocking the path, it is the path, it is the fire that burns away illusion, weakness, and hesitation. In its heat, I discover what I'm truly made of. Not in moments of ease, but in moments of resistance, my character takes form. Difficulty is not my enemy, it is my training partner. Each struggle, each setback, each closed door forces me to adapt, to refine, to strengthen. If the path was smooth, I would become soft, but the path is uneven, and because of that, I learn how to balance. The challenge sharpens my vision. It humbles my ego. It builds endurance in places I did not know were weak. I do not curse the struggle, I bow to it. When pain arrives, I do not run. I do not flinch. I meet it. I examine it. I ask it what it has come to teach. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to pay attention. I lean into it, not recklessly, but consciously. I train through difficulty not to prove something, but to become something. Resilient, focused. Grounded. These traits do not arrive from comfort. They are forged in the fire of effort. Every great mountain must be climbed step by step. Some steps will be slow, some steep, some will feel like setbacks. But each one takes me higher. I do not wish the mountain away. I train my legs to climb it, legs to climb it. I adjust my breath. I strengthen my stride. The higher I go, the clearer the view becomes. The view is not just outside of me, it is within. The obstacle did not block my vision, it revealed it. So I stop asking for ease, I stop seeking the shortcut. I walk the difficult path with full awareness. I trust the resistance, I use it. I become shaped by it, not crushed by it. There is power in that choice, to face the challenge, to endure the test, to rise through the weight. This is the way, this has always been the way. Not everything I carry belongs to me. Some thoughts, some beliefs, some burdens were never mine to hold. Inherited from others, shaped by fear, fed by repetition. Over time, I began to mistake their weight for truth. But truth is not heavy. Truth does not chain. It clarifies, it liberates. It liberates. So I stand still, breathe deep, and begin to let go. Not with anger, not with force, but with quiet clarity. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is not giving up, it is waking up. It is waking up to what no longer serves the journey, no longer reflects who I truly am. I release the need to explain myself to those who will not listen. I release the urge to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding. I release the tight grip on old versions of myself, the ones shaped by fear, shame, or survival. The process is not instant. It is a peeling away. Layer by layer, thought by thought. Sometimes letting go feels like loss, but it is only space being made for something greater, for presence, for peace, for truth. I do not force it. I do not rush it. I notice what feels heavy. I ask, does this serve me now? If the answer is no, I breathe out. And with the breath, I let it drift away like smoke into the air. I am not here to carry the expectations of others. I am not here to replay old wounds like songs stuck on repeat. I am here to move lightly, to live presently. And for that, I must clear the path within. Just as the body must release tension to move with grace, the mind must release clutter to see with clarity. So I cleanse gently but consistently. Each morning, each breath, each moment of awareness, I clear space. And in that space, I feel something subtle, freedom. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet strength. The strength that comes when I am no longer pulled in every direction, when I am no longer weighed down by invisible chains. I do not need to carry everything. I only need to carry what aligns with truth, with light, with purpose. All else I release, not because I'm careless, but because I'm clear. The world rewards urgency, notifications, deadlines, noise, all insisting that faster is better. But I have learned speed without clarity scatters energy. I do not rush to be seen moving. I choose to move where movement matters. Purpose is my compass. Before I act, I ask, why this? Why now? If the reason is shallow, I wait. If the reason is rooted, I proceed. Steady, committed, unshaken. Haste lives in reaction, purpose lives in response. Reaction is the body flinching at stimulus. Response is the whole self-choosing alignment. I create space between impulse and action. One breath, one pause, one clear look inward. In that space, priorities reorder themselves. Noise falls away. What remains is the next true step. I would rather take one honest step than 100 in confusion. Efficiency is not doing more. It is doing what matters with undivided attention. When I train, I train. I train. When I listen, I listen. When I rest, I rest. No divided focus, no half-hearted effort bleeding into the next moment. This single task presence sharpens results and preserves energy. Purpose concentrates power. Haste dilutes it across distractions. Pressure will come from time, from expectation, from others in a hurry to reach places they have not defined. I do not borrow their panic. I hold my ground. I hold my ground. I set my rhythm by breath, not by crowds. Like a calligrapher drawing one intentional stroke, I value clean execution over frantic motion. Completion born of calm carries fewer errors, less regret, deeper impact. Movement aligned with purpose feels light yet unstoppable. It wastes nothing. Not thought, not strength, not time. I advance like water finding its course, patient, persistent, precise. Even when the pace is slow, progress is real because direction is true. I do not chase pace, I cultivate alignment. And from alignment, every step becomes a statement of intention. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a discipline, a way of seeing, a way of moving, a way of being. It is not reserved for perfect moments, for victories or ease. It lives in the quiet, the routine, the overlooked, the breath I take without effort, the silence before the morning noise, the body that wakes, still willing to move, still able to feel. These are not small things, they are foundations, and gratitude is what keeps them visible. When I forget to be thankful, I begin to take. From others, from life, from myself, I begin to compare, to demand, to rush. The vision narrows, the world feels insufficient. But when I remember, when I pause and name what is, my eyes open again. I see not just with sight, but with awareness. I begin to notice what was always there. The strength in my spine, the lessons in my struggle, the kindness in a single word. Gratitude is not passive, it is not soft, it is a sharpening force. It cuts through entitlement and reveals perspective. It roots me in the present, not in what is missing, but in what is already here. And when I see clearly, I act wisely. My choices are no longer driven by lack or fear. They are made from a place of fullness, a place that says I have enough to begin to give, to continue. I practice this not only in comfort but in difficulty. When something is taken, I search for what remains. When a door closes, I look for the open space it reveals. This does not mean denying pain. It means refusing to let pain blind me to what is still sacred. Gratitude does not erase hardship. It gives me the strength to face it with steadiness, with perspective, with heart still open. I do not wait for life to be perfect before I give thanks. I give thanks to remind myself that life, even in its imperfection, is worthy. That I am already surrounded by abundance, even when the mind argues otherwise. In this practice, my vision clears, the world softens, the path brightens, and what once felt like not enough now feels like more than I could see. Gratitude has shown me how to see again. Silence is not emptiness, it is not absence, it is presence in its purest form, unshaped by noise, untouched by distraction. In silence, there is no performance, no mask, no role to play. Only awareness, only breath. I do not run from silence, I enter it willingly, because I have learned that what I avoid in stillness often holds the key to understanding. And what I embrace in stillness becomes the foundation of inner strength. The world fears silence because it cannot control it. It fills space with sound, motion, urgency, afraid of what might surface when the noise fades. But I am not afraid. I sit with silence like I would sit with an old teacher. Attentive, open, humble, I do not demand answers, I listen. And in that listening, truth reveals itself, slowly, steadily, without force. Not always what I want to hear, but always what I need. In silence, the mind is revealed, not as the enemy, but as the restless child it often is, seeking attention, spinning stories. I do not fight it. I observe, and slowly the waves begin to settle. Beneath the surface, something deeper waits, a knowing, a calm that does not need to be earned or created, only remembered. I return to it through silence, through stillness, through being with myself without distraction. Solitude sharpens. When no one is watching, I see who I am. Without applause, without validation, I see what remains, and what remains is enough. Silence strengthens my roots, while the world pulls at my branches. In this quiet space, I grow downward, deeper into patience, deeper into resilience, deeper into truth. I am not weakened by being alone. I am refined by it. I do not seek silence as an escape from life. I seek it to meet life more fully. Noise can numb, silence awakens. It makes me more present, more precise, more intentional. I do not fear what I find in the stillness. I fear forgetting to return to it, because within the silence I remember who I am beneath it all. And when I rise again, I carry that clarity into everything I touch. Training is not limited to the mat, to the gym, or to the hour we set aside. True training happens everywhere, in how I rise, how I speak, how I respond to difficulty, how I carry silence. Each action is a repetition. Each choice a chance to reinforce discipline or drift from it. I do not wait for perfect conditions. The day itself is the dojo, and life is always offering me the next lesson. The mind trains through stillness and clarity. When distraction arises, I do not feed it. I return to the breath. I return to the task. I return to now. This is mental strength, not loud, not aggressive, but steady. A mind that can stay, a mind that does not run from discomfort or chase after ease. This is the training. To sit with uncertainty, to resist reaction, to think clearly when emotion clouds the surface. The heart trains through compassion, through courage, through restraint. To feel deeply without being ruled by emotion, that is strength. To offer kindness without seeking reward, that is depth. Every interaction is an opportunity to train the heart. In patience, in forgiveness, in boundaries, I do not harden the heart to feel safe. I strengthen it to feel freely without losing center. The spirit trains through purpose by walking a path that reflects truth. This training cannot be faked. It is not for appearance. It is for alignment. When I say yes, it is a full yes. When I say no, it is rooted. Spirit training is subtle. It happens when I choose silence over noise, integrity over comfort, and presence over performance. It is the part of me that bows to something greater than ego, to discipline, to growth, to the inner flame. I do not train to impress. I train to prepare for difficulty, for uncertainty, for opportunity. The training is not just for hard days. It creates the strength that makes hard days easier. I show daily, whether I feel like it or not. I train not for the outcome, but for the process. Because who I become in the training is far more valuable than any goal it brings.